great advocates on our side of the aisle. The gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Jordan.
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the gentleman from Georgia for yielding. And I, too, want to urge a no vote on the previous question so we can address Mr. Steube's vote on and hopefully pass Mr. Steube's resolution, a resolution which is real basic, has 4 basic components to it. Justice for George Floyd's family. What happened in Minneapolis, we all know, was a tragedy, never should have happened. Wrong as wrong could be, and his family deserves justice. And our resolution calls for that. It also calls for justice for police officers and others who have suffered violence. Police officers like Pat Underwood, who, along with George Floyd's brother, Pat Underwood's sister, came and testified just 2 weeks ago in front of the Judiciary Committee, serving his community as a law enforcement officer attacked and killed. The resolution that would happen if we vote no on the previous question also condemns violence, all violence, and the creation of autonomous zones. There is a big difference. There is a big difference between peaceful protests, exercising our First Amendment liberties guaranteed to us under our great Constitution, the greatest Constitution ever. There is a big difference between peaceful protest and rioting. There is a big difference between peaceful protest and violence. There is a big difference between peaceful protest and attacking police officers. And there is certainly a big difference between peaceful protest and forming CHAZ or CHOP or any type of autonomous zone separating from our great country. And this resolution condemns that kind of practice as well. And finally, our resolution strongly opposes what I think is one of the craziest public policy proposals I have ever seen. This idea that we are going to defund the police. You know, it's funny because I hear some Democrats say defund the police doesn't mean defund the police. I'm like, well, change the sentence. It's 3 words. It's exactly what it means. Our biggest cities, the mayor of New York, de Blasio, has already said he's going to defund the police $1 billion. He got rid of the plainclothes unit in their department. Garcetti, the mayor of our second largest city, said he's going to defund the police $150 million. Baltimore, Hartford, Minneapolis, they went a step further. Minneapolis, supermajority of their city council, it's interesting to point out, 13 people on the city council. Guess how many of them are Republicans? 12 Democrats. Well, excuse me, 12 on the city council, I think. No, 13, excuse me, 13, that's right. 12 Democrats and 1 Green Party. They've already decided they're going to abolish the police department. This is crazy. So let's vote no on this previous question. Let's bring up a resolution that I think is consistent where American values are, consistent with the problems we face, consistent with the situation, the serious situation we are in. Let's vote no on the previous question. If we defund the police, I'll finish with this, Madam Speaker. We had a witness the last couple of weeks in 2 different hearings, a judiciary hearing and then an oversight hearing. Dan Bongino, former NYPD, Secret Service, protected President Clinton, Bush, Obama, worked in the NYPD, worked in neighborhood in Brooklyn. He talked about, if you do this, if we allow this concept, this defund the police concept to happen, to take root and to actually take place, it will not only be tough for police officers, we all know that, but the communities they serve, what will happen there is frightening. So urge a no vote on the previous question. Let's take up the Steube resolution. Yield back to my good friend from the great state of Georgia.